Today we're looking at common mistakes. I've actually got hundreds of videos based on the same model on YouTube where I just correct my students' mistakes, and they're mistakes that come up in loads of different classes. A lot of people don't realize, but when foreign students from different countries are learning English, they all make the same mistakes, even though they're from completely different countries. And so you hear the same types of mistakes again and again and again. And this is precisely why it's really useful to focus on your mistakes and the mistakes of others. Because when you do this, you'll see your own mistakes repeated by other people, and you'll become aware, hyper aware of your own weaknesses, and you'll get rid of them. And of course, that's what we're trying to do. And a lot of the time in my classes, I encourage students, if they want to improve their speaking and their fluency, to spend the majority of the class, 90% of the class perhaps, retelling stories, films, books, and I listen very carefully and I correct their mistakes. And a lot of the time they correct their mistakes. I'll just click my finger or just and that will warn them that they've made a mistake and that they need to think about that sentence one more time, and then maybe they'll be able to fix it themselves, because I'm a big believer that the student should fix their own mistakes. If they don't, if they always rely on me, then of course they'll never get better. But we need students to examine their own sentences and to look out for common mistakes. So that's enough of me yapping on about how you need to fix your own problems, but it's certainly true. It's not just true in learning English. So let's have a look at some of the mistakes that cropped up in my classes just over the last week. And this is just from 5 different students. I have taken their names away, hopefully, to protect the guilty. But let's have a look what they said. And on the left, you've got what my student said. And on the right, you've got what he should have said if he wanted to speak correctly and well. Yeah. So look at the first one. I have some friends which came as well. Yeah, which came on holiday as well, which came with me as well. That was the idea here. And of course, you can't say friends which. You need to say I have some friends who came as well. But this particular mistake with relative pronouns is really common. It seems easy enough, yeah? Who for people, which for things, but in practice, people very often confuse them. Another one is whose. People very often don't use whose when they should use whose. And please understand that whose is for things as well as for people. A lot of students don't realize, but we use whose for both, for people and for things. And we use who for people and which for things. Okay, so here I have some friends who came as well, of course. The next mistake, he had been engaged with some woman. Unlucky. We say married to and we say engaged to. Yeah. And look how similar they are. First you get engaged to a woman and then you get married to a woman. So they take the same preposition. Yeah, they're very similar verbs, and so they take the same preposition. Yeah, so first you get engaged to a woman and then soon after, hopefully, you get married to her. Okay, he had took. This is a mistake that I hear my wife making all the time, and she's not the only one. The third form of the verb is taken. It's not took. You can't say I have took, but I keep hearing this. I have taken. It must be I had taken or I have taken. So I know this is a very common mistake because I hear it very often. And I've even heard the kids doing it, because when they grow up, they do make mistakes with their irregular third forms, with their irregular participles. I've even heard kids say goed instead of went, yeah, or gone. Yeah, they're tricky for our young learners too. Okay, they started bearing children without a soul or mind. The student was retelling a science fiction story, and he meant they started having children without a soul or mind. To bear children is rarely used in the passive. I don't actually see anything wrong grammatically with the one on the left here, but I want to warn you that everybody would say the one on the right. And we just use the verb to bear children in the passive most of the time. I was born, she was born. It's very rare you hear something like she bore him a child. You will in old literature, you certainly will, but it's rarely used like that nowadays. And we normally say she had a child and not she bore a child. So I think that's important, and it's perhaps not what you would expect. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's move this a little bit further down. Am I moving it down? Yes, I am. Good. It doesn't say that it's sharing that window. Usually it tells me that it's sharing a window. Weird. Anyway, can you see that moving, guys? Let me know if you can see it moving. So we're down to here, and sorry, I have some monitor problems. 1 second. So he found a trap that was installed by Higher Morel. This is almost correct, guys. Very almost correct. But you want to think about tenses here. When was the trap installed? Was it installed before he found the trap? Yeah, it must have been. So he found a trap that had been installed by Higher Morel. And so you can see that we need the past perfect here because it happened before he found the trap. And this student, by the way, is very good usually with past perfect. He always remembers to put it in, and especially with reported speech. So well done, Daniel. I'm very pleased with how he uses tenses. It should shot at him and killed him. Notice the past forms here after a modal verb, which is not allowed. You know, modal verb plus infinitive. Should shoot. It should shoot at him and kill him in present tense. Or if you want to use a past modal expression, when you're very often criticizing the past, it should have shot at him and killed him, but it didn't. That's the idea. It should have shot at him and killed him. It was made to do that, but it didn't. Okay, so that's also a possibility. It is difficult to me to imagine that. This is, again, a preposition mistake. Difficult for me, easy for me, hard for me, complex for me, yeah, funny for me, even like that. We use the for when we say, yeah, it was easy for me to complete the task. It was terribly difficult for me to finish on time. Yeah, something like that. Okay, the next mistake is a really, really, really common mistake among natives. I think 90% of natives get this one wrong all the time. Certainly, the more I listen to natives use the word amount, the more I realize that they use it incorrectly nearly all the time. So my student is not alone here. Actually, 90% of UK native speakers make the same mistake. A huge amount of factors is wrong. Factors is countable. And with countable nouns, you need a large number of cars, a large number of pigeons, a large number of sandwiches, but a huge amount of work, a huge amount of money. Amount is for uncountable nouns like work and money. Number is for countable nouns. But I guarantee that you will hear natives making mistakes with both of those two. And if you correct them, try to explain it to them that amount is for uncountable stuff. They might even feel it. They ought to, because there is something ugly about the amount of times. And you very often hear that. The amount of times, it should be the number of times. Okay, they told that, they said that. I correct this mistake every single day of my life. Please have some sympathy for me and stop making this mistake, because I am tired of correcting say and tell. I guarantee it's going to come up in one of the other boxes from one of my other students. I just correct this mistake every day, guys. So please do your best to stop making your teacher correct this mistake. Now, of course, this is one of those ones where I'll just do this because I want you guys to realize that say and tell are different and you must use them differently. They told that is always wrong. They told me that, they told him that, they told Dave that, or they said that. Yeah. He feels depression. It's not so natural. He feels depressed is much better here. Okay, let's keep going further down. This is a different student. So you made a goal. It's not correct. We should say you scored a goal. Yeah, the football's been on, and so this is quite a typical mistake for this time of year. From toe to head, unlucky. From head to toe is the expression. If you want to say he was covered in blood from head to toe. Yeah, from head to toe. We start with the head and we go down to the toe. And we always do it like that. Think of the song, head, shoulders, knees and toes. Yeah, it starts from head and it goes to the toes. So from head to toe. I noticed twice. Okay, I noticed twice, and you need the adverb twice after the verb noticed. Okay, I noticed twice. So good morning, everybody. Yesterday it was a massive fight in a metro station. No, yesterday there was a massive fight in a metro station. So we need the verb, we need the pronoun, the dummy pronoun there when we're introducing something into existence. Yeah, we say something like there is a God, maybe. Yeah, and you don't say it is a God. It is a God sounds like you're pointing at something, maybe a statue. Yeah, and saying it is a God. Yeah, something like that. That would work for it. But if you're talking about existence, now here we are talking about existence. Yeah, we're just saying there was a fight. We're introducing the fight into existence. Yeah, and saying it happened. There was a fight in the metro. So we definitely need there and not it. It refers to a noun. It's a pronoun. Right there, and it can also be used as a dummy pronoun, but usually it's used to represent as a very real pronoun to represent something. So as soon as you say it is a God, for example, I'm picturing already a person pointing at a statue already. I think it will be used like that, but we would certainly say there is a God if you're arguing in favor of the existence of God. Okay, so use there is when you're introducing something into existence. Yeah, this is, I've done a little bit on existential articles here where you normally use the word a here, even though there's only one God, yeah, and even though you're talking about just the one and only God, you still say there is a God, and it's because you're introducing something to existence. And it's the same here, there was a massive fight, not the massive fight. It's got to be a, because you're introducing this fight into existence for the first time. Okay, 70 persons were arrested. No, 70 people. In legal English, you might hear 70 persons. I'm not going to say you'll never hear it. I have heard it, but I guarantee that all natives will say 70 people. They'll never say 70 persons, 70 people. People is the plural of person, okay, and not persons, only in legal English. Okay, you just remembered me of a funny case. You just reminded me of a funny case, a funny situation, a funny event, yeah? Remind somebody of something, but remember something. Yeah, they're very different. Remind somebody of something, but remember something. Okay, let's keep going. The main obligation against Putin was, this is just a mix-up in terms of nouns. Yeah, obligation is not an accusation, but what we want is an accusation. The main accusation against Putin was, okay, let's go on to the next student. We've got big data, and it should have been a large amount of data. You do hear the term big data quite often nowadays, but it's often referred to, we often use this term when we're talking about all the data that is harvested by the big tech companies. If you just want to say a lot of data, a large amount of data. Data's uncountable, so we can use amount, yeah? An amount of, a large amount of. Most of people were really upset. No, most people. Yeah, we just use most and now. Most Russians, most people, most waiters, whatever. It's got to be most and then plural noun. You can say most of the people, but I think most people is much easier. Yeah, you can say most of the Russians, or you can say most Russians. Most of the waiters, most waiters. Most of the football fans, most football fans, but not just the of on its own. Okay. They played really good. They played really well. Adverb, please, just like he speaks English well and not good. But you say he speaks good English, because then good is describing English, a noun. They defended really well, not they defended really good. Yeah, they defended really well. And not matter what color you have, it doesn't matter what color you are. Yeah, there's a lot of racism in the news at the moment, thanks to football. Strangely enough, football is apparently something that's incredibly racist. I don't believe that. I think that the media is manipulating us here, and I think it's trying to accuse us of being racist when we're not. It's the media that's racist. It's the media who think it matters what color you are. It's not me, and it's not anybody else. It's the media. Let's be honest. Okay, let's keep going. Let's go on to the next student's mistakes. We made a barbecue. No, we had a barbecue. We use the verb have a barbecue, just like we say have a party and not make a party. Yeah, it is a collocation. I have explained, damn it, the difference between a number of players and the number of players in another video. You'll have to go on to one of my other videos about subject-verb agreement, for example, and you can find the answer to the difference there. They are very different. One means a lot of, one means the precise number. So it didn't worth so much effort. It wasn't worth so much effort. This word worth is an adjective, yeah? It is worth £10. We use it like that, yeah? It is worth £10 and not it does worth. It is worth £10. It was worth £20. And so it wasn't worth so much effort. It sounds very natural. To make youth people, no, to make young people turn away. Yeah, we need young people, not youth people. He told that... Oh, I hate this mistake. He said that. Yeah, I hate this mistake because I have corrected it at least 1 million times in my life. At least 1 million. Think about how often I've corrected it. It's at least 1 million. I guarantee it. I reckon I correct it probably about 20 times every week, at least 30 times every week, maybe. And bear in mind, I've been teaching for 20 years. You do the maths. I've corrected this mistake a lot. The TV translation. I don't like people using the word translate to mean broadcast. I think that natives won't understand you. Perhaps it does mean in certain languages, because I know that translacja in Russian means a broadcast. Perhaps it does mean broadcast, but not in English, yeah? We talk about TV broadcasts and we talk about broadcasting a program. I have never seen anybody say translating a program, apart from in other languages. Translate for me means translate from English to German or from French to Italian, always, and not a TV translation or whatever. No, TV broadcast and broadcast a program. Okay, on the New Year's Eve, which one? It makes me think, yeah, on the New Year's Eve of 2011 or on the New Year's Eve of 1999, no article if you just mean on New Year's Eve, on December the 31st. Yeah, no article if it's just New Year's Eve. Okay, several million. Anytime you say 6 million, you do not say 6 millions. 5 million, it's the same with 100. 600, not 600s. 5,000, not 5,000s. 6 million, not 6 millions. Yeah, no S on the end of 100,000 million. When you say how many? When you say 2,03,450. Yeah. Okay. Let's keep going. So my travel to Cyprus. Travel is a verb. Trip is a noun. My trip to Cyprus. Yeah, that's what we needed there. Okay, we've got the last ones and we've got a few minutes to go through this. So let's see if we can finish it in 2 minutes. He's in the moment of a jump. No, he's in the middle of a jump. Yeah, that's what the student meant to say. It shouldn't be easy to raise 6 children. No, it shouldn't. You're saying it can't be easy. Yeah, it can't be easy. I'm sure it's not easy. It can't be easy to raise 6 children. I'm not, it shouldn't. If you're saying, you know, you shouldn't raise 6 children, you're saying it would be a bad idea for you to raise 6 children. But we're not talking about bad idea here. We're just saying it's almost impossible to raise 6 children. 1 children? No, 1 child. It shows people stuck up in a traffic jam. Unlucky. It shows people stuck in a traffic jam. No phrasal verb here. We just say to get stuck in a lift, to get stuck in traffic, to get stuck in a hole. Some of them have got off the cars. No, some of them have got out of the cars. Please remember, it's get in, get out of for cars, get on, get off for everything else. It's very important, that one, because again, it's a really common mistake. Okay, it shows how much important it is. No, it shows how important it is. Yeah, we just use how in the adjective here to mean to the extent of. Yeah, it shows how important it is. You don't have to commute each time. Not very natural. You don't have to commute. Yeah, commute is a verb. You don't have to commute each time. As little characters as possible. Little is for uncountable, so few is for countable. As few characters as possible. It depends on, not it depends by. It depends on. An adult have to. No. An adult has to. And look at the last mistake. They said to me to learn an instrument. No. They told me. If you're talking about instructions, it's got to be tell. He told me to wake up at 6 o'clock and not he said to me to wake up at 6 o'clock. It's not right. He told me. When you're talking about instructions, tell. He told me to learn an instrument. Okay, so you can see that say and tell have come up many times, and so sort that out in your own language. Focus on it. Get rid of that mistake. It's the way to do things. It's the way to improve. Yeah, you've got to focus on your mistakes, and then you can get rid of them. Okay, so thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for the support. Go to my website. I hope to see you all soon.